Hernandez.
Here.
Senator Hernandez present. Senator Lara. Senator Pavley.
Okay, we have a quorum, members. First file item 1, is it? SB 35, principal, the author, Senator Wolk, and principal co-author, the esteemed Assembly Member Dodd. Please present on the bill. The esteemed. We're trying to build bridges with the other house here.
Good job.
Mr. Chair and members, first of all, thank you, Mr. Chair, for scheduling this item so quickly. Napa and Solano and Sonoma are certainly appreciative of that. With me is my co-author from the Assembly, Assemblymember Bill Dodd, and also Supervisor Alfredo Pedroza from Napa County.
Looks pretty young to be a supervisor.
Yeah,
to me.
that's everybody says that. He'll age in the next year. First of all, I want to say that I will accept the technical amendments suggested in the extraordinary analysis, comment 5 on page 3, as author's amendments. This will correct a drafting error on page 3 of the bill. I also want to accept the suggestion in comment 4 of the analysis to amend SB 35 with language that makes the filing deadline extension automatic for any future president or governor declared disaster. This is long overdue. We don't need a bill each time that there is a disaster. This language will alleviate the need for that effort. SB 35 enacts disaster loss treatment for individual and corporate taxpayers in Napa, Sonoma, and Solano counties that suffered terrible damage from the earthquake last August. This will also extend the deadline for these taxpayers to amend their previous year's return to apply these losses, which will result in a tax refund that can be used to rebuild and recover from the earthquake. This bill will also provide identical tax treatment for taxpayers affected by the earthquake that the legislature has enacted for nearly every other significant disaster over the last 25 years. And I have my principal co and Supervisor Pedroza, who came here from Napa. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and committee members, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to co-present this with Senator Wolk. As most of you already know, at 3:20 a.m. on that fateful day, Napa was struck pretty hard by this earthquake. I think it's important for you to know that as I was arriving at the county at 4 a.m., as at the time I was a county supervisor, I was met in the stairwell by the Cal OES.
Yes, that's true.
And I really thank Cal OES for the fabulous job. We hear often about how we don't react favorably as governments during these natural disasters, but this is one where certainly we're very appreciative of Cal OES and what they've done. We had about 600 households that were without water and 70,000 residents were without power. We had a downtown and a lot of our business community that went under, but Napa is, they're back, and they're back by and large because of the investments that business owners and residents put in to make it not only for themselves, but also for the community, because having any players out, particularly in a downtown area, really stifles when you have fences around and red tape everywhere. So by and large, we have a lot of people that took it of their own volition and spent lots of money, and this bill that's before you today will help those people that made those great investments, not only in their own business, but in their community. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Chair and committee members, just to echo what Assemblymember Dodd said is, yesterday we marked 6 months from recovery from the earthquake, but the emails and the phone calls haven't stopped. I think folks are still recovering, and we're on the road to recovery. So I am here to proudly support SB 35 because it's the right thing to do. We have a lot of individuals who are still looking for resources, who are still assessing their damages. And I think, they're very proud of the way government responded, and I'm proud of that. I was on city council at that point in time. So SB 35 is just another step in the right direction. So I'd appreciate your support.
Thank you so much. And Senator Wolk, thank you so much for creating this great committee. I appreciate it very much as you pass the torch to a new generation of leadership. And I just want to specifically acknowledge that. And before we ask for further support, I just wanted to ask The esteemed Assemblymember Dodd, why should Sonoma County be included in this bill when the President of the United States did not deem the effect of the county disaster sufficient for a disaster declaration to continue to exclude to Sonoma?
Well, we're not so parochial, Senator, in Napa, in terms of other counties and wine growing areas that we would ever consider discriminating against anybody.
Would you agree to an amendment to exclude to extend the jurisdiction to say Los Angeles?
Of course.
Well, in the future, should something happen, it will automatically be extended to you.
This bill will take care of this. Thank you.
That is true.
Can we move towards Orange County too?
And San Diego.
In the future, absolutely.
That is exactly true. For any further support on this measure before I turn to the members to ask questions?
Mr. Chair, members, Amy Brown on behalf of the City of Napa in support. The city faced about over $300 million in private property and public infrastructure damage. Red tag and yellow tag buildings were about 1,800. So we thank the authors for their leadership on this issue.
Thank you. Further in support?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Karen Lang on behalf of the County of Sonoma, very thankfully still in the bill, hopefully. There was just much less damage.
I don't know, there may be an amendment.
Oh, please no. There was a little bit less damage in the County of Sonoma, but there were individuals that did suffer some losses, so we would really appreciate staying in the bill. Thank you.
Okay. Why did the president not put you in?
Less damage.
Okay.
We're working on that. Mr. Chairman, Paul Yoder, on behalf of the County of Solano, also in support of the bill. Doing a heck of a job so far. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Gina Rodriguez with the California Taxpayers Association. I wanted to speak to the technical aspects of the bill, if I could, and thank the authors for the bill and for amending it to streamline the disaster-related tax relief in California. Streamlining tax relief for disaster victims is a priority for taxpayers. Taxpayers have testified on this issue to presented it to the FTB at the Taxpayer Bill of Rights in 2009, 2011, and 2014. It is a priority to streamline this. California disaster victims repeatedly face a delay in obtaining their tax relief because of the piecemeal implementing legislation. It is inevitably delayed. We've seen this time and time again, most recently for the San Bruno pipeline explosion in 2010. Those taxpayers, disaster victims, had to plan to deduct their losses on their 2009 returns. But again, because of the delay in the piecemeal legislation, they had to amend the returns. And amended returns are very costly to taxpayers as well as to the state to process them. And for these reasons, we support the bill and the amendments and ask for your aye vote.
Before you leave, I was going to ask Senator Walk if she'd be willing to insert an amendment in the bill to enact a sales tax on services. Would you still be in support of the measure if we did that amendment?
I'll be exiting now. Thank you.
Just trying. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members. Jennifer Tannehill with Aaron Reed and Associates on behalf of the California Society of Enrolled Agents. CSEA supports SB 35, and California law is similar to federal law and allows a taxpayer that suffers a disaster loss to elect to deduct the loss in the year immediately preceding the disaster that occurred if it's a federally declared disaster. However, there is no automatic state disaster treatment for disasters declared by the governor. The impact of this disparity is that the legislature must pass a bill for each disaster, and the bills pass after the tax deadlines, and victims of the disaster must then go through the process of having to file an amended return, as my colleague mentioned. CSEA fully supports SB 35 and the state providing tax relief to the disaster victims in order to help them come back from the major losses they faced. And the proposed authors' amendments, we also support the proposed authors' amendments to automatically provide this disaster relief when the governor declares a disaster. This bill and the amendments will provide timely relief and means that the victims will not have to wait for the legislature to pass a bill each time there is a governor-declared disaster. We ask for your support. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Margo Parks on behalf of Family Winemakers of California. On behalf of our members in Napa, Solano, and Sonoma counties, we thank you all very much for bringing this to the committee and encourage the committee's support. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Megan Brightwell on behalf of the California Professional Firefighters. Pleased to be in support. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Madam Vice Chair, any questions of the support before we go to any opposition? Any members? Questions? Senator? Senator? Senator Pavley, any questions? No questions? Doctor?
No, none right now. Thank you.
No questions? Just one final question of the esteemed Assembly member, just because this is his first time he's testified, and it's also the first time I've chaired a committee in 15 years, so I want to have a little bit of fun.
There we go. Sir.
Assemblymember Dodd. What?
You didn't say that.
Can you tell the committee, as we look in the bill here, the difference between the definition of a casualty loss and a disaster loss? Do you know what that is? You don't have to.
No, I can't really speak to the casualty loss versus the disaster loss. Perhaps the casualty, my guess would be the casualty loss would be that perhaps it's covered by insurance.
That's right. I think so.
It's what's going to happen at this committee.
Is the whole. But I appreciate the question. It's a very important question.
Any opposition to this measure? Though seeing no opposition. Any further comment by the members? Yes.
Kind of new back with you.
That's right.
This is a great moment for me, guys, being back. We have a bill that really helps taxpayers and also includes government efficiency. Hallelujah. That's
Hallelujah.
on your watch, Bob, so I'm
This is
totally
good.
in support.
This is very good. I want to co-author this measure here. Any motion? Moved by Vice Chair. Any close?
I would just thank you, ask for your aye vote, and I especially want to thank you not only for the levity of the proceeding, but also for scheduling this as early as you did. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Call the roll.
Read the motion.
Oh, I've got to do passes amendment to appropriations.
Senator Hertzberg?
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Senator Nguyen?
Aye.
Senator Nguyen, aye. Senator Bates?
Aye.
Senator Bates, aye. Senator Bell?
Aye.
Senator Bell, aye. Senator Hernandez?
Aye.
Senator Hernandez, aye. Senator Lara? Senator Pavley?
Aye.
Senator Pavley, aye. We have 6-0.
6-0, measure passes. Thank you very much. Mr. Assemblyman, Madam Chair, thank you very much. Okay, nothing further before the committee. Committee stands adjourned until, what, 2:30 when we have a joint informational hearing with Franny. Thank you.